It is your Classic Metal Show right here on the ClassicMetalShow.com. That, of course, if you didn't know, you're plain stupid because there's no way to mistake that. That's brand new stuff from the mighty Corrosion of Conformity. The name of that tune was Old Disaster. The name of the new album is No Cross, No Crown. And on the line right now is the incredible guitarist of COC. It is Mr. Woody Weatherman. Woody, how are you, man?
Oh, man, I am doing great, I appreciate you picking that crazy tune there, man. That's one that everybody's not listening to quite yet, but awesome, good deal.
Well, I'll tell you a secret I'm not supposed to tell. Your publicist actually let me hear this album a little bit earlier than most, and because she knows that I am an absolute COC worshiper, and I got to tell you, man, I cannot believe that after such a gap in time from Pepper releases, that you guys have not only picked up right where you left off, but maybe even intensified it some. It's such a good record, man.
I appreciate that. I mean, really, whenever we started doing shows again with Keenan here, it's been over the course of the last couple years, and man, it just started really gelling, man. And people kept, offering tours here and there, and we just kept staying out on the road. And eventually, we were like, man, we got to start saying no to all these tours and get in the studio and make it happen, and that's what we did, and finally, it's finally coming out, January 12th or whatever, so we're looking forward to it, got a ton of tours coming up, getting ready to hit the road with Zach and the Black Label guys, so kind of getting everywhere all of a sudden.
No doubt, man. Well, before we talk about the new record, let's go backwards a little bit and talk a little bit about I don't even know if I want to call it a reunion because it's not like you guys really broke up with Pepper, but talk about him coming back into the project and specifically talk about the fact that you brought him in at a time that you guys as a three-piece were really putting out some great music and doing some fun tours, and it seemed like you guys were really on track as a three-piece.
Yeah, well, we were having a good time. I mean, the goal was all along was to get the four-piece going again. We all love playing the classic songs so much. We were having a good time playing the really old stuff,
right,
from the Animosity era and all that, and we kept bumping into Pepper. We'd roll down to New Orleans. He'd come out and sing some tunes with us, or we'd be out on the road, and Down would be on the same festival, and so we would join up again there, and, Keenan come sing some songs or whatever, and eventually we were like, hey, it's time, we kept calling each other going like, man, when the time's right, we're going to make it happen, and finally the time was right, and it just felt so good, getting out there and playing all the stuff live again. It was just natural.
Sure, definitely. Now, it's interesting, though, because for people that don't know, and I can't really figure out why it didn't get more attention than it did, but you guys, in the last 4 years or so, put out two absolutely killer records. I mean, they're both solid. They're both some of the best. They both feature some of the best stuff that you've ever done, but it didn't, for whatever reason, it didn't grab the attention. Why do you think that is?
Hey, who knows, man? It's a lot of times it's a label kind of stuff or whatever. But man, we had a good time making those three-piece records. There's a lot of doom riffs on there, a lot of fast stuff, a lot of just different styles, but we had a good time making them, and that's the important thing. We got out there and did some touring, and I think it all just sort of blocks built on top of each other to take you where the band goes next,
Sure.
Just try to always make the best records we possibly can, man, and No Cross, No Crown. I think we feel it's a strong record, so we're going to stay out on the road for a while on this thing. We're not gonna just like do a couple tours and then it's gonna be over with. We're gonna push it and go out there for a while.
Right. Well, you're definitely right, man. It is such a big, fat sounding, meaty release, man. I mean the riffs are big, and Pepper's voice feels right, and I mean just the whole thing to a fan sounds perfect. For you, bringing somebody back into the band that hasn't been there in a while. What was different? Was there anything different, or is it the proverbial fits like a glove and just was back to the way it used to be?
It's pretty much that. I hate to be that simple with it, but yeah, I mean, we've done it so long together. We kind of know how everybody works and what who does what and all that kind of stuff. And it's really that actually comes into play big time when you hit the road. That's because touring is what kills a lot of bands. So we've learned through the years how to do that. What you gotta have respect, and you just always working, trying to do the best you can. And if everybody does that, it pays off in the long run.
Sure. Now, listening to the record, it's very, very obvious that your playing is a lot, I'll say, thicker than on previous releases. Not that anything has ever been thin. When you go into the studio, how do you develop riffs that are unique to themselves without repeating stuff that you've already done or stealing from other stuff that you've already done to create something new? Because it really does feel as a fan like you're reinventing yourself with each release.
Well, there is a trick to it, and believe me, a lot of times we throw stuff out there and it doesn't make the cut. It's not like everything we throw out is golden right off the bat. We work on it, and you got to. But as far as like stealing things or whether it be from yourself or from somebody, I mean, that's all part of music, isn't it? It's all,
right.
There's always a little something borrowed from somewhere, in all rock and roll, it seems like. But the trick is to make it sound like your own and for it to have your own flair. And so we work hard on that. It doesn't just happen automatically. You got to think about it. And there's a lot of throwaways. Like on this record, there was several tunes that were well into being, songs that we just eventually said, it's not really working. After you stand there for a while and you're not feeling it, we just throw it in the trash. Start over.
Sure. Is it different for you to write riffs and to write leads, having that second guitar player to play off of or to develop the sound with?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I mean, Keenan and I love to get out there and do some of those harmony things. They're fun to create in the studio, and John Custer, our producer, he likes to he loves that part of making a record. It's like all the guitar candy stuff, which is what we call it. The kind of stuff on top of the music is fun for us all to get in a room and chuckle about and just try to do the craziest stuff that we can, but still make it our own,
Sure.
And have it where we can halfway do it live,
Right. No doubt, man. Well, I got to ask you at least one cheesy question. What does the title mean? No Cross, No Crown.
Well, I think it means several different things. We sort of got that title over 2 years ago. We've known what the name of the record was going to be for since we started back, doing the 4-piece stuff, and we just got it off this stained glass window at this ancient church we played at over in England somewhere. It was this old stained glass, and there was a dude getting hit on the head with a stick or something, and it, embossed at the bottom of the stained glass was "No Cross, No Crown." We were like, "Holy shit, that's a good theme to play off of,"
Right.
And we took it and ran with it, and so the theme kind of crops up several times during the record. It's probably going to mean a lot of different stuff to different people,
No doubt, man. Now for you as the creator of the music, what song stands out as the, your favorite moment, whether it's something you did personally or something where the band just feels the most together or what have you?
Right. Really the album opens with sort of a little intro, but the first real song on the record is called The Luddite. Mm-hmm. And to me, that one is the most fun to actually play because it does not stop. It's like a freight train,
Sure.
There's no resting points in the song, and it's about a 5-minute song or something, man. But that's the funnest one for me to play. There's a lot of moments on the record, and a lot of different riffs, but that one stands out for me.
Excellent. Now I'm going to make an assumption here, and you can tell me that I am straight up full of shit once I make this assumption. But
okay.
But for me as a fan, I look at COC a little different than I do other bands, and the reason I'll say that is it almost feels like you guys don't consider COC one band, but maybe you have one name and then there's like three definitive parts. There's obviously the early punk era, which feels like it's an independent thing from the more metalish era with Pepper. But then there's also the Carl Agell COC Blind that was touring as well. That almost feels like that's another piece. Do you guys see it as one unified thing, or do you really kind of look at it as maybe like an overlying title with different shifting parts that have different times for each part?
Yeah, well, there's definitely different eras of the band, where we have experimented on different stuff, but really, just from day one, we just wanted to make heavy music and be original with it. And I think so. For me, it's one band.
Okay.
I've been there the whole time, and
right.
it's just a continuing journey. We always try to do something a little different, but yet stick with the core of what the band is and with the band sound and all that kind of stuff. It all ties together for me. But I do understand. I mean, there's different eras, especially if you go back to the hardcore days, whenever we were kids, and
right.
and really, literally, all we wanted to do was play fast and go crazy.
Right. Do you look at that time as I'm obviously you probably look at it as fun, but do you look at that time as a guitar player as being developed, or do you look at that as like you were real raw and a real rookie compared to where you've gotten to?
Well, definitely, it was more of a learning. They're all steps in learning to get to where you're at today. But I mean, we were kids, so we didn't know. We didn't know jack.
Right.
we had no idea what we were doing, but we were just having fun and creating stuff. And we got, more serious about the songwriting and so forth later on. And we've always taken it seriously, but we know there's an expectation, and we're not gonna put any BS out there. We want it to be real and be solid,
right.
And not let people down.
No doubt, man. Have you ever felt like you did?
I don't think so. I mean, not intentionally. I know that. I mean, I know, everybody's not going to like everything you do, and
mm-hmm.
And all that kind of stuff. So you can't please everybody all the time. But one thing I do know is we always work hard at it.
Sure.
And we give it our best shot. So that's all you can do, really.
Exactly, man. Well, dude, talk about this tour going out with BLS, man. This is obviously, as a fan of guitar players, this is like a dream show to open the 2018 season with you and Pepper and Zach and Dario Lorena as well. This is a great night for guitar fans.
Yeah, it's going to be great, man. I can't wait. I mean, Zach's a fantastic player. I've had the pleasure of meeting him a few times. He's a really cool dude. So it's going to be like kind of the brotherhood out on the road. We'll be having a good time. And, I'm not going to try to compete with Zach on the guitar. I know that. But we're going to have a good time out there. It's awesome that he asked us to go out. So it's a good way to kick off the new record for us. And, I'm looking forward to it.
No doubt, man. And it's a pretty high-profile tour, which is probably just what you guys needed, considering, the return of Pepper into the band, don't you think?
I think it is. And it's a good way to kick off the U.S. It's like almost 2.5 months or something. I mean,
Sure.
It's really long, but we're going everywhere. And so then that'll give us a chance to come back on our own after that and do a headline set, and squeeze more tunes in. But we're going to try and squeeze all we can into this. I think we're going to be doing close to an hour even on this thing. So
nice.
We'll have plenty of room to squeeze a bunch of new tracks in, hopefully, and some of the classics,
Right, no doubt, man. So you mentioned before that you guys are going to try and be out there, as much as you can. Does that look like do you think that you're going to have the opportunity to be out pretty much all of 2018?
It's kind of looking that way. They've already got a Europe run, scheduled up around some of those festivals and all that. And the plan is to come back here after that. And like I said, run some headline shows and stay out all we can, as long as people will have us, we'll be there,
No doubt, man. Well, Woody, the name of the album is No Cross, No Crown. Of course, it's Corrosion of Conformity. And Woody, what am I missing that you want people to know, and where can they go to find out where you're going to be and buy the record and all that good stuff?
Oh, man, they can find us. We got all those Facebooks and Twitters and all that stuff, and just get out there, and all that stuff's on there. You know, it's easy to find. Google's your friend. Let your fingers do the walk, or they can just call me and I'll tell them, man, either way.
No doubt, man. Well, Woody, as a tradition on the show, we always let the artist pick a closing track from the new record and tell us a story about it. So what would you like to wrap this one up with?
Okay, hey, Jamie, I'll be right there. How about, shoot, man, well, you've already played one of the cool tracks on there, man. How about ELM? Can you find that one on there?
Oh, yeah. And why that one?
It's brutal. It's heavy. It's another one of the heavy ones.
All right. Easy enough. Well, let's get heavy right now with Corrosion of Conformity. This is ELM right here on your Classic Metal Show.
All right.